Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to math. Today, we're going to continue covering on solving rational equations. You guys remember last class we were doing very basic ones. Okay. Today, we're going to step it up a little. Okay. Today, we're going to try to make some more complicated ones where we solve for that variable. So, for example, if I were to have 1 over 6x squared equals 1 3x squared minus 1 over x. Okay, this is all we're dealing with for today. Notice that not everything on the bottom is the same as the other one where it was already pretty much solved for you, most of it. Today we're actually gonna have to create those problems to make them the same, okay? Or alter those problems, should I say. Notice that we have two problems on one side, okay? Two terms, should I say. We have to, the first goal on this is we have to have the same denominator to make it easier, okay? Since these two don't have the same denominator, what we're gonna do is we're gonna alter the second one, okay? We already have 1x. If we're trying to look for 3x squared, we have to alter this side by 3x, okay? The reason why is because 3 times 1 is 3, because remember there's a 1 in front of the x, and then you already have 1x, all you need is one more x to have x squared. So we're gonna multiply this side, okay? We can leave the negative for now on the outside. Let's not deal with that, not yet. Just deal with this. Times, remember, 3x, okay? That means that the thing on the other side of the equal sign stays the same. We have 1 over 6x squared, okay, equals 1 over 3x squared. We're going to keep the negative for now, okay? So minus, we have 1 times 3x is 3x over, we have x times 3x. Since we already have an x here, we have an x there, we're going to have it as 3x squared, okay? Now that we have the same denominator, at least on this side of the equal sign, we're going to combine them. We're going to have 1, 6x squared, because we haven't done anything on this side, equals, always put the variable first, okay? If you have a number with the variable, always put it first. Negative 3x, since there's nothing in front of the 1, plus 1, over, since you have the same denominator, we only have to write it once, 3x squared, okay? Notice that we didn't do anything on this side just yet. All we focus on is getting the same denominator, okay? Now that we have the same denominator, we have to get rid of it. We're trying to not deal with fractions, okay? So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna do the opposite, the inverse, okay? Of that, we're gonna multiply this side by 3x squared over 1, okay? Whatever you did to one side, you have to do to the other. So we're gonna multiply on this side by 3x squared over 1. Because remember, whatever you do on one side, you have to do to the other. Over here, the 3x squared cancels out. Because remember, we had to cancel things that were the same on top and on the bottom. Cancels out. Technically, the 1 really doesn't matter because negative 3x plus 1 over 1 is just itself. Okay? On this side, notice that we have an x squared. We can cancel it out here, cancel it out there. So 3 times 1 is 3. So we have 3 over 1 times 6 is 6. Equals, remember the 1 doesn't really matter, so we have negative 3x plus 1. Okay? We're almost done. Remember, we're solving for x. Now that we have this here, I'm going to erase the top, okay? Or you know what? I'm going to write on the side over there. We have 3 over 6 can be reduced. Remember, reduce your fractions. Make it easy on yourself, okay? 3 over 2, they're both factors of 3. 3 can go into 3 one time. 3 can go into 6 2 times. So 1/2 equals negative 3x plus 1. Okay? Now that we have this piece of the equation, if we're solving for that variable, remember, this looks more like a multi-step equation, okay? We're going to get rid of the 1, right? Because we cannot get rid of the variable because there's nothing here. So minus 1 minus 1. That means that we have 1/2 minus 1 is technically any number times itself, okay? We can alter that number to make it 2 over 2, which is still 1. So technically it's still 1, okay? But the reason why we did 2 over 2 is so we can have the same denominator. Which 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Because 1 minus 2, you'll still owe 1 over 2, okay? Equals, what do we have left over? Which is negative 3x. So minus 3x. Now, starting to look a little more familiar. We're going to divide by negative 3 over 1. Remember, when you're dividing, in order to be able to divide, you have to make it the opposite of multiplication, okay? So the new problem is we have negative 1/2 divided by negative 3 over 1 equals x. Because remember, the negatives cancel out. Since you can't really divide, okay, all we're going to do is we're going to alter this second equation. We're going to make it multiplication. So we have negative 1/2 times when you alter the equation. Okay, make it from division to multiplication. The second fraction, okay, in here, or the number behind the division flips. Since you have a negative 3 over 1, it's technically now negative 1 over 3, because we flipped the 1 and the 3. So negative 1 times negative 1 equals negative 1, or positive 1, should I say, because they're both negatives. So negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, over 2 times 3, which is 6. So 1/6 equals x. And that's our answer. Okay? Like I said, this is why last class we started off with some already pretty much pre-made ones from here down. Now we have to actually alter them, okay, to make them the same in order to solve for the variable, okay? Make sure you write all your notes, okay? All right, so here's your assignment for today. All right, guys, so the assignment for today is we have 1 over 6x squared plus 1 over 6x equals 1 over x squared. Okay, similar to the one I did. And let's do one more just for the practice, okay? Your second one is (1 over 6x squared equals 1 over 2x plus 7 over 6x squared. Okay, so there's 2 problems on the board. Make sure you submit your answers as soon as you're done watching the video, and I'll be waiting for your email.